Alex, you managed to get oversubscribed when you found your deal and went to investors, and managed to retain a significant proportion of the ordinary equity, more than I'm seeing nowadays. To me, a great outcome. I'm sure people will love to hear how you went about doing that.
In terms of the stake that I have, I think maybe that might be the conditions of the market changing. I'm not 100% sure. I think that, I definitely think there's some commoditization, as I've already said, in the market in the UK. How did I get oversubscribed? I think there's a couple of things here. So one, I think it's really important to have a really great company. I think equally as important is having making sure those meetings are run really, really well. So if I say so myself, I think the one thing that I really learned from investment banking was how to put together a really super deck. So, a slide deck. So I think I had if I say so myself, I think it was absolutely beautiful. I know it sounds silly, but I often see people send me their decks. And I say, let me see your deck, and I see a spelling mistake, or I see a comma out of space.
Awful.
I think the thing is, we all do it. But if you're sending that to an investor, what impression does that give? It's the same thing where, often people reach out to me and they spelled the name of my company wrong, and I'm thinking, why? So I think it's really important that you have a really good deck, and then actually about how you run the meeting. So I had a script for those meetings as well. And then finally, when I was having those meetings, I would also make sure that I wrote down absolutely every single question, and I'd write down the question. I'd write down 3 bullets. So often, people, it's like an interview where you've prepared so much, and you're doing it over Teams, and they ask you a question, and you think, well, hold on, that's a really good question. And while you're saying it's a really good question, you're actually trying to look for your answer in your script.
Yeah.
Finally, what you notice is once. I've said this before, that there are a lot of investors who are a bit like sheep. And what happens is that you get one person really interested in the deal, and then everyone rushes in, and it really does. You think it's for some people it just rains, and then suddenly the rain starts and it starts to pour. And I think that's what I noticed. I think you create there's a need to create a sort of tension. I also found, there was enough tension around the deal that I was actually getting contacted by people who wanted to come into the deal. And I think part of it is, yes, I think I had a good deal, and I think I'd prepared pretty well. I think part of it was that there was a tension created as well.
In the meantime, as you say, people, there is a bit of herd mentality, I think, and not because people are unsophisticated investors or because they are frivolous with their money, but I think no one wants to be the one to make the effort to really analyse it and understand it. And if someone else that they have co-invested with before, or they trust their judgment, has done that, they're quite happy, I find, to go, do you know what, we'll follow them into this because they've obviously done the work. But then people start to assume that the people who are on the cap table have done the work. And if everyone assumes someone else has done it, actually, you get a lot of people piling in, right? So, but how would you create that condition?
Oh, God. So it's... Do you know what? Someone gave me some amazing advice, and this is actually what I was about to say. It's really important. So, it actually does not come naturally to ask anyone for money. So I got 2 bits of advice from different investors, from different searchers who had raised money and been pretty successful. The first was ask for money, get advice. Ask for advice, get money. And the second was I said to someone, "Do you have any advice for raising money?" And she said, no, it's like eating. You have to eat. And if you want to raise money, you've got to raise money. You've just got to go and do it. And I know that is so stupid, but I thought these were the best bits of advice. It's like unfortunately, you just have to get on with it. Yeah. And then also, you just think about when you're thinking about having those calls. So it's not just first. I think a lot of people get very nervous. I think you go into those calls and you also go in with a strategy. So I found when I was speaking to people, there were lots of people who said, "Okay, I don't like your terms." And I said, "Do you know what? That is fine. I'm already pretty well subscribed. I've got lots of calls coming up. I heard that you're a really good investor. I just wanted to talk to you." The number of people who said that to me, who then said at the end of the call, "I want to invest in you." Now, I don't think that is to do with me, but I think what it is to do with it saying, I think also people want to, they want something that they can't have. And I think that also really helps. So when you go in asking for advice and you get, and you come out getting money, I think that's also part of it. But if you come in asking for money, I think investors sense this sort of either desperation, they can get you a worse deal, or think, why is he so desperate? This is obviously a deal that no one wants.
Yeah, absolutely. And to be honest, Alex, you've said that you're not a very good negotiator. But to me, being able to say, no, they are the terms, is very good negotiation. And I think people then think, actually, this guy's going to be good in business because you were willing to walk away and, you had a red line. You also said that you are someone that likes to put forward the terms you are willing to accept rather than trying to go too far and then have to be scaled back. So you went in with, look, this is what I'm willing to accept. And if they didn't like it, well, I'm not interested then.
So I do actually think that it was a negotiating tactic, which I hadn't really thought about that at the time. So yes, I really don't like negotiating because I find it it's stressful, whatever. So you're totally right actually there. So that was a negotiating tactic. And I think I was able to do that because I was very quickly oversubscribed. And yeah, so I think I was in a fortunate position very early on. And I mean, obviously, Workplace is an amazing company, so that's probably a huge part of it as well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, this is telling me that just your preparation and kind of diligent planning has helped almost at every step of this process. So, I think there is huge credit go to you for all of that.